Hello Mesquite, hello Nevada, hello America. Welcome to the Mesquite Weekly. The Mesquite Weekly is proud to present an election 2018 special report. I am your host, Rudy Mortel. The Nevada primary election is in full swing and early voting began 2 weeks ago. There is one more weekend and a Monday to mull things over. One more time until Tuesday, June 12th. The opportunity to let our voices be heard is almost at an end for this primary election contest. We have heard from the candidates on TV, at rallies, at fundraisers, and in the newspapers. The battle still rages on at road intersections and along our city streets. Candidate signs are literally screaming at us at every turn, and lawn signs are still popping up everywhere. We now expect that all our citizens will rise to the occasion and exercise the free speech that was won and so declared, and so eloquently begins with the words, "We the people." We went out to the early voting sites, and what did we see? Apathy. We will return after this brief message.
Some people might try to tell you that this is an apple. It might even start as a joke. But when they say it over and over and over again, and people start to believe it, it's only a matter of time until someone gets hurt.
Early voting turnout has always been a slow-moving wave, regardless of color, red or blue. A slow-moving wave in Mesquite. But in 2018, the Nevada primary early voting was dismal. I do have to note that the daytime high temperatures on Sunday and Monday were in excess of 100 degrees. And voting on a Sunday was also a first. Mesquite residents seem to close their doors, draw their shades, and remain indoors from now until October, just to keep cool. Mesquitans do venture out in the morning to attend Sunday services, but voting is not something they are used to doing on a Sunday, and seemingly so also not on a Monday. While many of us will be eagerly awaiting the results of the primary races, Republicans, Democrats, and nonpartisans will share final results after 7 p.m. on June 12th. The Mesquite Weekly, however, will take a risk and forecast and predict the results of the Republican and Democratic primary contests for U.S. Senator, U.S. Congressional District 4, and the nominee for Nevada Governor. We will be back after this short break.
Hi, I'm Kay Mercer, candidate for City Council, Seat 1. I love Mesquite, and I want the best for this city. I'm determined to take on every challenge, and I don't give up. I've worked in business and teaching. I want to seek solutions for healthcare and for our schools. If you elect me, L.K. Mercer, I am determined to make this great city even better.
A total of 15 Nevada candidates are seeking a seat in the U.S. Senate,
It's jungle out there.
filing for the position that's up for election this year. On the Republican ballot, the incumbent Dean Heller will face a field of 4 other Republicans in the June 12th primary election. Included on the ballot are fellow GOP members Sherry Brooks, Sarah Ghazala, Vic Harrell, and Tom Heck. Sherry Brooks is a relatively unknown candidate and calls Reno her home. Brooks was a 2012 Republican candidate who sought election to the U.S. Senate from Nevada. She lost in the Republican primary on June 12, 2012. Brooks has no other political history. Tom Heck is also a 2018 Republican candidate seeking election to the U.S. Senate. Tom Heck was also a 2016 Republican candidate who was defeated by Joe Heck, no relation, in the 2016 Republican primary. Ghazala is a teacher with a master's degree in special education. She was born in Cairo, Egypt, a newcomer to the Las Vegas area and an unknown to Nevada politics. Vic Harrell's low-profile campaign activities are not a factor in forming any voter interest. And the winner is Dean Heller. On the opposite side of the political fence, there are 6 Democrats set to vie for the Senate position. Well-known Democrat Jackie Rosen has decided to give up her position as Congresswoman for a chance at the U.S. Senate seat. She, Danny Burley, David Drew Knight, Sushit Bobby Mahendra, Alan Reinhardt and Jesse Spey will battle it out in the primary with the winner to head to the election and face whichever Republican is triumphant. Jesse Spey is a 2018 Democratic candidate seeking election to the U.S. Senate from Nevada. Spey was also a 2016 Democratic candidate who sought election to the U.S. House of Representatives, the 3rd Congressional District of Nevada. Spey was defeated then by Jackie Rosen in the 2016 Democratic primary. The rest of the field is just dead. The rest of the field. And the winner is Jackie Rosen. Others to be included in the general election for U.S. Senate do not pose a serious challenge to either Republican or Democrat. These candidates may have some impact on the final outcome in November.
It's jungle out there.
Congressional District 4 has more than 20 contestants. Current Congressman Ruben Kaiwan, a Democrat, has declined to run for re-election in the wake of a sexual misconduct allegation levied against him. The man he unseated in 2016, Crescent Hardy, a Republican, is hoping to resecure his former position this year, and he has a tough pool of candidates to contend with. On the Republican ticket with Hardy are David Gibbs, Jeff Miller, Mike Monroe, Bill Townsend, and Kenneth Wagner. They will go to the primary first, and the winner will head to the general election in November. Crescent Hardy, a favorite son of Mesquite, will take the win, not just among Republican Mesquite voters, but will receive the same favors from all CD4 Republicans. Crescent Hardy. Democrats for the CD4 race include John Anzalone, former Congressman Stephen Horsford, Patricia Pat Spearman, Allison Stevens, Amy Villela, and Sid Zeller. Pat Spearman, a Nevada state senator, has visited Mesquite a number of times, hoping to attract the over 65 and the veterans vote. However, Spearman, John Anzalone, Allison Stevens, and Amy Villela are splitting the progressive votes, thereby assuring a clear primary win for Stephen Horsford. Stephen Horsford, CD4. Moving on to the governor contest, Nevada's gubernatorial race is another crowded with contenders, a total of 17 in all.
It's jungle out there.
Nevada Attorney General Adam Laxalt will abandon the AG position. Laxalt is going for the top spot in Nevada, that of governor. He will mix it up in the primary with fellow Republicans, William Bill Boyd, Stephanie Carlisle, Frederick Conquest, Edward Dundas, Jared Fisher, Stanley Stan Dusak, and Dan Schwartz. Albeit that Laxalt may not obtain a 50% plus majority, the effect of the GOP vote dilution and split-ups among 8 candidates will easily give the win to Laxalt. Democratic gubernatorial candidates include Clark County Commissioner Steve Sisolak, Henry Thorns, David Jones, Christina Christie Giongigliani, Ashish Diwan, and John Bonaventure. Steve Sisolak seems to have this one wrapped up. Sisolak has deep pockets, huge campaign surpluses from his county commissioner races, and endorsements from all the Democratic power brokers. An easy nomination win. Steve Sisolak, governor. To recap, 100 plus candidates are seeking to win 3 elected offices: the U.S. Senate, U.S. Congressional District 4, and the governor's office. 3 elected offices. This is a very important subject and will be featured in future editions of the Mesquite Weekly. More on that later, but now back to the primary and the Mesquite Weekly predictions. 6 predictions, see how we did. Stay tuned and be sure to watch this space for a special report on the actual election results after June 12, 2018. In our next segment, we will turn to the so-called nonpartisan Mesquite City Council contest and a prediction that we also feel confident about. We'll be right back after these short announcements.
29 years ago, my family made a big bet on a little town called Mesquite, and we've been invested in this community ever since. My name's Annie Black, and I'm running for City Council. I'm running because I love Mesquite. This is where I chose to live, work, and raise my children. I believe we need a new voice and fresh ideas on our City Council. That's why I'm asking you to bet on Black June 12th.
The Mesquite City Council races for Seat 1 and Seat 4 are nonpartisan, but you would be hard-pressed to show any evidence to that effect. Attempts at exit polls were met with looks of fear and or maybe trying to avoid embarrassment about disclosing a choice of candidate and being asked for the reason for the choice. A few brave voters actually bared their souls and stood proudly behind their choices. Here are the few brave men and women who did the sharing of their voting experience.
Here's the question. I know you voted today for City Council. There are 2 seats. Do you know who you voted for in seat 1?
I voted for Gino Withelder.
Why did you vote for Gino?
I've known Gino for several years. I know he's an upstanding citizen. And I think he'll be good for the council because he is the mayor, what do they call that? Substitute mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Pro Tem, yes.
You also voted for Council seat 4. Can you tell me who you voted for?
Chuck Kruder.
And why'd you vote for Chuck?
I don't know Chuck, but I read his spiel in the paper.
The question is, the City Council races are a nonpartisan race, and there are 2 seats being contested. One is seat number 1. And who do you plan on voting for?
If
I may ask.
Voting for Chuck Kruder.
That's seat number 4. And why are you voting for Chuck?
I believe that Chuck does show the independence. He's not a person who has anything in the game. He was an executive in his previous life, and I think that I can rely on Chuck.
And seat number 1, you also have a number of candidates. Do you know who you're voting for?
I'm voting for Sandy Raymaker.
Okay. Tell me why you're voting for Sandy.
And I believe that she's always had guts. She was on the water board, and even though she always asked tough questions, and it was very difficult, I always thought that she did her job.
And I understand that you're probably going to vote a Republican ticket.
I am.
Can you tell me which candidate for governor?
Not really.
Can you tell me which candidate for the Senate?
No.
Can you tell me which candidates for the City Council? Mesquite City
I
Council.
know I'm going to vote for Annie Black.
Okay, that's seat number 4. How about seat number 1?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't decided.
Tell me why you're voting for Annie Black.
Well, because I know her family.
And anything else?
No.
Okay.
Not that I think of. Sorry.
Thank you.
The early voting in Mesquite, and I'm going to vote Karen Fielding for seat 4. She's a great lady, and she's great for Mesquite. She's really into safety, and I've known her for the past 10 years, and I'm going to go get my vote right now.
Have you considered seat 1 at all, or are you going to pick one when you're there?
I'm going to go choose whoever I feel is best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Although a few more voters did verbally discuss the choices for City Council with the Mesquite Weekly, we did not obtain a sufficient number of participants in the exit polls to be able to further comment. As such, and for fear of losing some of our audience, we are not predicting any winners or losers in the City Council contests. Our focus has been almost exclusively on the City Council races, and we therefore cannot speak to any of the other nonpartisan contests. We will, however, note that in the Clark County Sheriff election race, Mesquite City Police Chief Troy Tanner has endorsed the incumbent Joe Lombardo. We predict that Lombardo will be re-elected after a relatively controversial free first term. We almost failed to notice that we have a state legislature. Assembly District 19 Chris Edwards is not engaged in a primary contest and is also running unopposed in the general election in November. State Senator Joe Hardy, District 12, is also not engaged in a primary battle, but does have an opponent in the general election in November 2018. Also noteworthy is a candidate in the Bunkerville favorite son, Ryan Bundy, running for governor without any party affiliation. Will the Bundys' notoriety for causing a stir again focus the nation's attention to their cause? We'll see. Regardless of predictions and party politics, we have one opportunity to play a part in this drama, and all we have to do is show up at the polls on Tuesday, June 12th. Party politics will continue to be played in picking a party candidate during the primaries, but the real game begins after that. Now you are totally confused because what choices do we really have after that? Well, none really, unless we start to wrap our heads around supporting candidates that do not spout the rhetoric of political politics and anything goes ethics, actually unethical practices, to win an election. What are we to do? Well, not unlike any other kind of problem resolution method, a bit of homework and inquiry will help you send in the right direction. It is usually easy to ascertain the rights and wrongs of any candidate's position with 3 simple questions. What will you do for me? How will you do it? And when will it be done? Never ask why it will be done. I repeat, never, ever. Okay, give it a shot, and if you're not inundated with a barrage of rhetoric, bullshit in other words, which attempts to circumvent any of the what, when, and how questions, I will be extremely surprised. Be sure to ask if the candidate will agree to an expedient and efficient method of recording their answer. Video records are the most efficient and expedient in assuring that it can't be denied later. Can we really start to demand specific directions and ask specifically what I represent and demand a recall if they don't comply? A simple 3-step will get you there. Step 1. Ask them specifically state what, ask how it will be done, and when it will be done. Step 2. Don't bother to listen to what they're opposed to, because it's just a step around, or more like a reach around. Step 3. Keep track of what they do while in the elected position. Step 3 is where they will get you all the time, because they know that when they do not do what is promised, no one remembers. Do not forget that you need to repeat the question before, during, and after the election cycle and meticulously keep track of their answers. Let them know you're doing exactly just that. Let them know their promises are the sole reason for their representing you in their elected capacity. This is the real work of democracy, and it is not at all political, but simply is what it is. That being said, the only recourse after election is a recall, impeachment, or forcing a resignation. A bit like closing the barn door after the bull has left the village. These are the reasons for engaging a lobbyist. Lobbying methods are tried and true, and with appropriate funding, the individuals that have much to gain finance an army around each and every local, state, and federal legislature to make sure that they do their bidding. How can I include? With a heavy sigh of despair? Well, I can, and so can you, but it may be more productive if we demand that our representative do our bidding. A lobbyist is just someone who demands that their representative does what they ask them to do. Remember to ask what, how, and when, and hold them to that promise. Let the lobbyist in you come out and make demands. Share your hard work with others by simply letting your friends and neighbors and the world know who stands for what and how and when they intend to bring us a future that we want for ourselves. We want to thank you for watching our special edition report, and we hope to see you again real soon.